Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are continuing prospect discussion, this time breaking down the top 10 prospects the Carolina Hurricanes has to offer. What a prospect pool the Carolina Hurricanes currently have. They had a phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal, 2020 NHL draft, truly one of the best in the biz, and in 2019 had a very strong draft as well. Don Waddell, their GM, has done a fantastic job over these past couple years, and now they have a prospect pool that is just oozing with talent, with so many guys that I can't even have on this list for you today, so make sure you stay till the end of the video, find out all the deets, all my thoughts, and all my honorable mentions that I will have at the end of this video, because there's definitely arguments to be had with some of these players, and for good reason, and a lot of these mentions would easily be within the top 5, if not top 10, for opposing NHL teams and their prospect pools. So again, these videos do take quite some time, guys, so any love would really be appreciated by hitting that like and subscribe button. Share this video out if you do in fact enjoy it, and help us get to 3,000 subscribers. It would really mean a lot, guys. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Starting off at number 10, we have 7th round draft pick from the 2020 NHL draft, and that is Alexander Pashin. And I know you might be wondering, Tyler, how do you have a 7th round draft pick, no less, already in the top 10 from the 2020 NHL draft class? Well, Pashin is easily one of the biggest sleepers in this entire draft class, and as long as everything can pan out, given the adversity that he does face, I'll be conquering in a second, then he has the potential to really be one of the biggest steals this entire draft class has to offer in the coming years. But Pashin, if you don't know him, he's a 5'7", 150-pound centerman. That is the biggest reason by far why he has fallen in the 2020 NHL draft class, along with that uncertainty as to if and when he will come to North America to play in the NHL, because he's currently owned by the KHL in his contract. But when it comes to Pashin and his game, the 7th round draft pick had one game in the KHL this past year, 0 points, perfectly fine. In the MHL is where he has been dominant in a league right below the KHL, and 39 games played, has 37 games played at 39 points, including 17 goals, 22 assists. And the year prior had 10 points in 17 games, including 6 goals and 4 assists. Pashin, when it comes to his game, he's an explosive, dynamic, offensively minded winner. He doesn't have a great defensive game as centerman, I should say, as it is, but when it comes to his offensive potential, is superb. He has great playmaking and passing ability overall. He has fantastic skating. He's one of the fastest skaters out of this entire draft class, and really taking advantage of his smaller frame at 5'7", 150. And as long as he can continue to develop his game a little bit, rough around the edges in certain aspects, especially defensively speaking, can handle playing against men more at the VHL and KHL level, then I expect Pashin to have that potential to really be a top 6 forward in the NHL one day. I know it may seem as a stretch as being a 7th round draft pick, but it was really just because of his size. All the potential, all the skill is there, and we know that we live in a game for the NHL currently that is not based on size nearly as much as what it once was, and if Pashin can continue to round out his game, add some more meat on him as well, only being 150, the great things are going to happen. I'm really high on him. It's really a boomer bust type pick, but so much potential and so many reasons to be excited. Next up at number 9, we have Jamieson Rees. Rees, 2nd round draft pick just in 2019 by the Carolina Hurricanes. The centerman, he's 19 years of age, 5'11", 172 pounds, and in the OHL this past year had 61 points in 39 games, really strong numbers, including 43 assists and 18 goals. The year prior, he had 32 points in 37 games, including 10 goals, 22 assists for 32 total points. When it comes to Rees and his game, he's another very strong playmaker that has seen great strides in his progression this past year, playing in the OHL, and truly has the potential to be a top 9 forward in the NHL one day. He is defensively sound. He's not crazy good when it comes to his 200-foot game, but he is balanced, no question, and really has some great upside. He's seen some great strides over this past year, as I mentioned. Strong playmaking ability, can shoot the puck as well, and just a guy that definitely can be reliable for the Carolina Hurricanes in the coming years. Has really went up, in my opinion, in regards to his stock as overall prospect these past 6 to 12 months, so expect a lot from Rees, hopefully at the NHL level within the coming years. Next up, at number 8, we have Patrik Puistola. If you don't know him, the winger plays both the left and the right wing, is really more known for his goal scoring, is really labeled by many that watch him as that sniper type player in the NHL one day. We'll see how long it takes, but a lot of promise, no less. But when it comes to his game, the 19-year-old, 165 pounds, drafted in the 3rd round in 2019, so another 2019 draft pick here. Playing in Liga this past year in 45 games played, 12 points, including 6 goals and 6 assists, and also playing in the Mestis League in 4 games played at 4 points. The year prior, he had 1 point in 16 games, so you already see progression when it comes to his game at Liga. And in Mestis, he had 26 points in 22 games, including 15 goals and 11 assists in that 18-19 season. But then also in the 2020 season thus far, in 19 games played at the time of recording this, he has 6 points, including 2 goals and 4 assists. So already better numbers that we have seen in previous years with him being in Liga. And as a young 19-year-old playing against men, that is no easy task, and he is getting better game by game, has that strong goal scoring ability, that ability to really be a top 9, if not top 6 winger in the NHL one day for the Carolina Hurricanes, and really is a guy that not enough people are giving enough acknowledgement to because of how deep this prospect pool is. Has a lethal shot, and as long as he can continue to round out his game, take more advantage of the playing time given to him in the Liga as he's been gaining an increased opportunity to start the 2020-2021 season, then great things are going to happen. Puistola is a guy that I could definitely see hit North America within the next year or two, given how well he's already been progressing against men in the Liga. Next up at number 7, we have Morgan Geekie. You guys probably know him. He had a cup of coffee in the AHL last year in his rookie debut for the Hurricanes, racking up 4 points, including 3 goals and 1 assist in only 2 games for the Canes in the regular season. Then also had, I believe, 1 point in 8 games, splitting time between the qualifying round and then in the actual playoffs for the Hurricanes. But when it comes to Morgan Geekie, he is 22 years of age, so one of the older guys you'll see on today's list, one that really wasn't coveted much at all in years prior, but has seen significant strides in his overall game this past year. The 6'3", 192-pound centerman was drafted in the 3rd round back in 2017 by the Hurricanes, and in the AHL this past year had 42 points in 55 games played. Really strong numbers for the 22-year-old, including 22 goals and 20 assists. And in the AHL, 4 points in 2 games, as I mentioned, in his debut. And the year prior in the AHL, he had 46 points in 73 games played, including 19 goals and 27 assists. So what has really stood out about Geekie is, one, his transition to the AHL and how smooth it was right away for him, really having a goal scoring spree right away, but also the ability to continue his progression at every level he has played in his young hockey career. Between his junior level, having great seasons, especially his last 2 years in juniors, and then going to not going to North America, but playing in the AHL, had great numbers between being a 20 and a 21-year-old, having at least 40 plus seasons in each season. Fantastic numbers, and Geekie is basically a lock to be in that bottom 6 for the Carolina Hurricanes next season. No doubt in my mind, he definitely has an upper hand given his ability, what he has done already in his short stint and in the playoffs. So a lot to like about Morgan Geekie. Has a strong 200-foot game, takes advantage of his body at times, being at 6'3" as well, and just a balanced goal scorer as it is. He can help you with his playmaking ability. He can help you with his passing. He can get in the nit and gritty in that offensive zone as well. Just truly a balanced forward that is going to be great for this Carolina Hurricanes team that looks like they're going to be having some great playoff runs over these next 5 years, and I expect Geekie to be a great glue guy, if you will, in that bottom 6 going forward. Next up at number 6, we have one of my favorite prospects out of this entire prospect pool, and that is Dominik Bokk. If you guys don't know him, Dominik Bokk was originally drafted in the latter half of the 1st round back in 2018 by the St. Louis Blues, and then was dealt just over this past year and a half, I believe, with Joel Edmondson, you guys know him as well, to the Carolina Hurricanes in return for Justin Faulk. And what a trade that has turned out to be. Edmondson, we know, is no longer with the Hurricanes, but it made sense as to why things just didn't last there, given their depth defensively. But Dominik Bokk is really coming into his own as one of the better prospects for the Carolina Hurricanes, no doubt in my mind. But if you don't know him, Bokk, the right winger / left winger, 20 years of age, 6'2", 187 pounds, and in the SHL this past year, in 45 games played, has 17 points, including 11 goals and 6 assists. The year prior, in 47 games played, had 23 points, including 8 goals and 15 assists. And in 2020, to start off this season in the SHL, and 10 games played at the time of recording this, he has 2 points. So nothing crazy, but there is so much to love when it comes to Dominik Bokk in his game. He has had great progression over this past year as well. When it comes to his game, he has such smooth and quick hands. Filthy hands, truly, and he's a dynamic offensive weapon in that zone between his playmaking ability and his goal scoring ability as well. He's so balanced, but it's just so nimble. When it comes to his game, he's just so creative as well. He's not your average forward by any stretch of the imagination. It has taken him maybe a little bit longer than expected in his development to date, but seriously, as a later round pick in 2018, that 1st round, nothing to be upset about. He's a guy that really can make a shot for the lineup as soon as next season. We'll see what time will tell, but I fully expect him to hit the AHL sooner rather than later for the Carolina Hurricanes. I expect him to make a strong transition to North American hockey, given how well he has played in the SHL and also playing for Germany in juniors. He has put up some great numbers there as well, but a lot to love about Dominik Bokk. Definitely has top 6, if not top 9 upside, and just a guy that really could come into this offense and wow so many people over these next couple years. Next up at number 5, we have another draft pick from the 2020 NHL class, and that is VASILI Ponomaryov. I could have said his name wrong. I apologize. But when it comes to Vasily and his game, the centerman, 18 years of age, 5'11", 176 pounds, and what a story he is. Playing in the QMJHL this past year in 57 games played, had 18 goals, 31 assists for 49 points. And in the KHL the year prior, in MHL I should say, not the KHL, is really where he lit it up though in the MHL. In 37 games played, had 29 points, including 9 goals and 20 assists. And in the 2020 season to start off in the QMJHL, he has 9 points in 9 games, including 5 goals and 4 assists. So while his game definitely has looked a little lackluster at times when he has transitioned to the QMJHL, he has still put up phenomenal numbers for his first time playing North American hockey, no less. And in the MHL, to have that transition toward North American hockey has really been impressive. A lot to love when it comes to Vasily and his game. The 2020 second round draft pick is a very reliable forward overall. He has a decent two-way game as it is, and is one that he can continue to work on as time goes on, but he's so creative, and another one of these guys that is truly dynamic in the offensive zone. Between his playmaking ability and having that ability to get the puck off quick and easy is certain things that really have stood out to him about his game overall, and has that definitely top 9 upside in my opinion. You could make the stretch to say top 6. I'm not going to go there just yet, but top 9 I definitely feel comfortable about. Truly a dynamic forward as it is. Nothing too overly flashy with his game, but he is very creative overall. And I suggest you check out some film of him if you haven't already. A lot to like when it comes to Vasily and his game, and is another one of these fantastic draft picks that the Carolina Hurricanes have had outside of the first round. And at number 4, we have Ryan Suzuki. Now, I know you might be wondering, Tyler, how do you have Ryan Suzuki all the way at 4? I know, it's crazy. It feels like just yesterday he was arguably the top prospect for the Carolina Hurricanes, but that's what can happen when a great 2020 NHL draft class is presented to you and you have a fantastic draft overall. But Ryan Suzuki, still a fantastic prospect. This is nothing against him at all. It just shows you how much deeper this prospect pool has gone over this past year. But Suzuki, if you don't know him, originally draft picked just a year ago in 2019, drafted in the first round by the Canes. The centerman, 19 years of age, 6 foot 181 pounds, is a younger brother of Nick Suzuki from the Montreal Canadiens. What a duo this can be when it comes to their brothers, them as brothers in the NHL over these next couple years and beyond. They really can look like some of the better brother tandems the NHL has had to offer in quite some time. A great story they both have had. But when it comes to Ryan, things have definitely been serious, because just a year ago, back in November of 2019, he sustained a serious eye injury that has left him with permanent damage in one of his eyes, which he will never have the exact vision that he once had. It's definitely a serious issue. I believe he has 20/100 vision in his one eye, so it's been a battle, but he has definitely not even noticed it at this point, and has shown his great progression and his willingness to not let something like that affect him and his overall game into the NHL sooner rather than later. But when it comes to Suzuki and his game as it is in the OHL this past year, in 44 games played, had 58 points, including 18 goals and 40 assists. The year prior had 75 points in 65 games, including 25 goals and 50 assists. When it comes to Suzuki and his overall game, he definitely has a top 6 potential, no doubt in my mind. As his former first round draft pick, what a steal he could end up being for the Carolina Hurricanes. Even with his issues with his eyes now, I don't really think it's going to phase much of his game, if at all. And he's so agile when it comes to him. His hands are filthy as well. He has superb playmaking ability. This is a guy that I would fully expect to see hit the Carolina Hurricanes lineup within the next 2 years, no doubt in my mind. As of right now, I believe he'll be making the jump for the AHL next season, if not hitting the AHL level. We'll see, time will tell, but in my personal belief, he definitely has potential to make quite the impact for the Hurricanes, be a core piece to that lineup over these next 3, 4, 5+ years. So much to love about Ryan Suzuki, and even though he is in a little bit of an awkward situation given his injury, he is going to prevail above it, because he has a mentality, he has that great strength and mentality to really give all he has on a night-to-night basis, and nothing is going to stop him. Next up at number 3, we have one of the most controversial players from the 2020 NHL draft class, to which some would argue makes plenty of sense and others would argue doesn't make nearly as much sense, including myself, and that is Noel Gunler. Noel Gunler, what a story this young kid is. Drafted in the second round. Yes, he fell the second round of the 2020 NHL draft when so many people had him going in their top 20, if not top 15. He's a lethal goal scorer, and you have to be ecstatic if you're a Hurricanes fan to land him in the second round, no less. But when it comes to Gunler, the right winger / left winger, 19 years of age, second round as I mentioned, and the SHL this past year in 45 games played as a teenager, had 13 points including 4 goals and 9 assists, and the year prior in 15 games played, he had 5 points including 2 goals and 3 assists, and also has had some of the best numbers when it comes to point per game and goals per game in SHL history at his age. Truly remarkable. And playing in the Junior 20 Super Elite for Sweden and 31 games played, had 27 goals, 19 assists for 46 points. Amazing numbers, some of the best in all of the Super Elite's history, and you have to be ecstatic about that as it is. But why has Gunler been such a controversial player? Well, we'll get to it in one more second. He also has had 5 points in 16 games played in the 2020 season to start off, including 3 goals and 2 assists. So taking more advantage of the bigger opportunities and roles given to him in the 2020-2021 season as he has been drafted since then. But Gunler, he has a fantastic shot, just a great ability to score goals in every which way, whether he's in front of the net, whether he's getting that one tee off in the left or right dot, or just a nice wrister when he's getting into that offensive zone. He really does it all. His playmaking ability is unbelievably flashy at times. At other times, it is a little suspect. He doesn't have a great defensive game by any means. These are things that he's going to continue to work on as he grows as a player, but no less pure talent, pure ability, silky hands as well, and truly one of the best goal scorers to come out of this 2020 NHL draft class, which is saying a lot given just how deep it was. But Noel Gunler, what a steal for the Carolina Hurricanes to get him outside the first round when he very well could go down as one of the best goal scorers in the NHL over this next decade, as long as he can continue his development, work on little aspects of his game, and he gets more increased role. He really has the potential to hit the NHL next season. But realistically, he'll probably finish out this season in the SHL and maybe get a cup of coffee in the AHL next year. We'll see what happens, but he's a guy I do not think will be playing in opposing leagues for much longer because he really has that pure talent, that pure ability, and I think when it comes to the overall coaching staff that the Carolina Hurricanes have, led by Rod Brindamore, they're going to round him out really nice and be more of a balanced two-way player. But a fantastic goal scorer and truly one of the better ones the Carolina Hurricanes have had, and going forward, who knows what the possibilities are with a guy like him. It could really help propel them to that next level over these next 5 years. Next up at number 2, we have Jake Bean. It feels like Jake Bean has been around forever. Originally first round draft pick in 2016 by the Carolina Hurricanes. Really coveted a high draft pick, but at the same time, defensemen do normally take quite some time to develop unless they are a sure lock to hit the NHL. Things have definitely taken its course with a guy like Jake Bean, but he's perfectly ready to hit the NHL. He really just hasn't been a regular yet, in part because how deep the Carolina Hurricanes have been on the defensive front as it is. So no shame against that. He has definitely taken advantage of the opportunities given to him in the AHL this past couple years. But who is Jake Bean? Jake Bean, the 22-year-old defenseman, 6'1", 187 pounds, drafted in 2016, as I mentioned. He was defenseman of the year in the AHL this past year in 59 games played, had 48 points, including 10 goals and 38 assists. The year prior, in 44 games, and he had 44 points in 70 games played, including 13 goals and 31 assists. Fantastic numbers, and also had 2 games played in the NHL for his debut. No points, but still awesome no less. So when it comes to Jake Bean, a fantastic puck-moving, offensively minded defenseman that is defensively sound and is a power play quarterback, loves commanding the rush into the offensive zone, especially as a power play quarterback. He has a lethal shot and great vision overall. His hockey IQ is definitely up there. A very nimble skater too, and a guy that is expected fully to hit the NHL next season. I really hope he does, and now is the time for him to blossom into that lineup for the Carolina Hurricanes, as they have lost some people in free agency this year, among other things. So time is now for Jake Bean. It won't be easy given his competition, but truly an amazing talent and has done everything at every other level. So it's about time for him to be an NHL regular and be a great puck-moving defenseman that is sure to get up 30-40 points on a regular basis, in my opinion, as soon as he hits the NHL. And at number 1, you guys probably figured this out by now, it is Seth Jarvis, a fantastic goal scorer, another one of the best goal scorers out of this entire 2020 NHL draft class, and Noel Gunler was right beside him, so just shows you that the Carolina Hurricanes didn't get not just one, but two lethal goal scorers out of this entire draft class, similar to the New Jersey Devils, who gained Alexander Holtz and Dawson Mercer, but fantastic job by the Hurricanes in their scouting overall, getting Jarvis where they did, right in the middle of the first round. The right winger, 18 years of age, 5'10", 172 pounds. In the WHL this past year in 58 games played, had 98 points, including 42 goals and 56 assists. And the bulk of these points happened in the latter half of the season. So just amazing the tear he went on. I forget the exact statistic, but it was remarkable. And the year prior, he only had 39 points in 61 games played, including 16 goals and 23 assists. So talk about progression. Talk about taking that next step in your game in juniors. That is exactly what Seth Jarvis has done over these past 6 to 12 months. Truly remarkable. And when it comes to his game, he's so explosive. He's dynamic. He's so creative. He doesn't matter how he gets the points up as long as he gets the points up. He's so hard-nosed in the offensive zone. He has a great overall ability when it comes to his 200-foot game, and just can be a hound on the puck, a constant motor night in and night out. He is a little bit smaller in stature, so that is the only argument against his game, but is a guy that is going to truly prevail over, in my mind, is going to thrive in the top 6 as a possible top-line forward one day for the Carolina Hurricanes. Same thing with Noel Gunler. They just have so much potential, and Jake Bean has really the potential to be a top-line defenseman in the AHL one day. Such high potential for good reason, but Seth Jarvis has all the ability to be a fantastic player in the AHL, and it shouldn't take him long. I expect him to really hit the AHL over these next couple of years, no doubt in my mind. Maybe get a shorter stint in the AHL once that is available, but outside of that, great things are going to happen, and dynamic offensively minded forward here with great ability when it comes to his passing and his scoring. Just a lethal shot overall. No matter how he does it, he will get it done. Just an amazing overall talent and just a fantastic prospect pool overall for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now on to the honorable mentions before I leave you guys today. We have so many guys that I really was upset that I couldn't talk about enough, but just give you my mentions here. We have Zion Nybeck, who another guy that fell in his draft because of his size, when he has been lighting up the lamp like no tomorrow, playing in Sweden currently, playing in the level right below the SHL. Truly phenomenal what he has done. So much potential, so much to give. It's just about rounding out his game and really prevailing from his size. That has always been a factor, but to this point has not been an issue, to say the least. Only in his draft rankings, that's it. But a lot of great potential. Then you have Joey Keane, a defenseman who was drafted by the New York Rangers just a couple years ago, was traded in that Julien Gauthier trade back at around the trade deadline. A fantastic defenseman. I've seen him in person. A lot to give with a guy like him. He's a great puck-moving two-way defenseman and will be huge for the Hurricanes in the coming years. And then Anttoni Honka, another really solid defenseman for the Hurricanes as well, playing in the Finnish Elite League, putting up some great numbers to start this year as well. Plenty to give. Just so many great prospects, but those were easily the top 3 that stood out to me, and plenty more could definitely be argued as well. So if I didn't mention a guy exactly like Drury, for instance, who's another solid prospect, let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about my list? Do you agree? Do you disagree with it? Make sure to let me know, and also make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. As always, help us get 3,000 subscribers, guys. It would really mean a lot. These videos do take quite some time to make, but you guys definitely make it worth it. And also check out previous videos in the end screen in a second. But thank you all so much, guys. It means a ton. Expect plenty more prospect videos and overall hockey content going forward. And I'll see you guys real soon.